Hey, are you going to retire in like 10 or 15 years? You should be watching this video because there are 15 things that I came up with that you need to consider before you retire. This video is meant for you. There are 15 different financial planning topics that you can consider as you make plans for this next phase of your life. Hey, welcome to the Weirdness of Money. My name is Manny, your host. On the Weirdness of Money, we talk about all of the weirdness that people have around their finances. And you know what? Pre-retirees are not immune from the weirdness, and we're going to jump into it today. Hey, if you're a pre-retiree and you have mapped out a retirement date for yourself, hold on before you actually take the leap into retirement. Let's make sure that you have a plan in place. If you're considering retirement and you have no financial plan in place, this is a wonderful opportunity for financial planning because there are a number of financial areas that you should consider before we make that leap. You probably have considered some of these topics already, but I want to make sure that you cover all of your bases, so let's just jump into it. Number one is retirement savings assessment, and you can really only do this if you know what it's going to cost to live your life in retirement. I'm always talking about putting together a spending plan, and that's a great place to start if you have one currently. So you have living expenses today, and likely when you go into retirement, you're going to maintain the same level of spending. Not a lot of people like to go into retirement and have to reduce their lifestyle. So you can avoid that by making sure you have enough to maintain your existing standard of living. So put together a spending plan if you don't have one already with your anticipated monthly costs. What does it cost to live your life in retirement? You want to use what I call the safe withdrawal rate to help you determine the amount of potential income you can take from your portfolio on an annual basis without dipping into principal, and so that your portfolio distributions can keep up with inflation. If you have $1 million portfolio, for example, 4 to 5% is somewhere in between $40,000 to $50,000 annually that you can put towards your lifestyle spending. Add that to your Social Security or your pension income, and that kind of gives you an idea of what your total income might look like in retirement. Number two, you want to be able to define what your retirement goals are, and things you'll consider in this phase is you'll be looking at your lifestyle. What is it going to cost to live your vacation, well, not vacation lifestyle, your retirement lifestyle? You might be going on vacation while you're in retirement, so factor that in. How much is it going to cost to have the vacations you want to have while you're in retirement? You'll also want to factor in things like housing expenses, if you're going to be moving or relocating or making any changes to your home. If you're considering aging in place, meaning you will not be going to a retirement or nursing home, you will need to make some changes likely to your home so you can adapt it for retirement. That might mean widening doorways or adding ramps to your home for wheelchair access. I talked about this a little bit in number one, but you want to review your spending. You want to take a look at what it costs to live your life currently and think about, are they necessary for you to be happy and fulfilled in your retirement life? Maybe this is the time where you take a closer look at what you're spending and you make sure that all of those items that you spend money on are in alignment with who you are today and your financial reality. Number four, you want to take a look at your Social Security and pension benefits because this is a great source of potential retirement income. It's one of my favorite sources of income because it's recurring and fairly secure, meaning you can depend on this income to help fund your retirement. So get really good numbers on what you can expect to receive from Social Security. One way you can find out what you'll receive from Social Security is by going to ssa.gov, logging in, and getting a Social Security benefits estimate. This takes your earnings history and gives you an approximate number as to the benefit that you can plan on receiving when you reach full retirement age. If you're planning on receiving a pension from your employer, make sure you understand how the pension will be paid out, whether or not your spouse will be covered in the event that you predecease your spouse. These are details that you can run through as you look at an estimate of your benefits from your pension program. Number 5, investment strategy. As you get closer to your retirement date, your retirement time horizon shortens. And because it shortens, we need to make adjustments to the risk profile in your portfolio. And we do that by making changes to your asset allocation strategy. And we do that by reducing the amount of stock positions and increasing the amount of bond positions. If what I have just told you is gibberish, then get yourself in front of a professional that can help you change your portfolio into one that is a little bit more conservative as you get closer to retirement. Everybody's situation is a little bit different, so you want to get in front of a professional if this is not something you're familiar with. But in general, you're going to be reducing the amount of stocks in your portfolio and increasing bonds. Number 6 is health insurance and long-term care insurance. As you get closer to your retirement age, you'll be looking at an option called Medicare. At 65 years old, you become eligible to receive Medicare benefits. Medicare is widely accepted by many medical professionals for payment, and it becomes advantageous to you because your premium prices typically decrease. Unfortunately, the Medicare system is a little bit complex, so you'll be looking at things like Advantage plans and supplemental insurance to make sure that you receive the coverage you need to stay healthy. Long-term care insurance is also something you should consider. If you are a younger pre-retiree, you might still be within the sweet spot or the window of opportunity where long-term care insurance is still somewhat affordable. It is still not cheap, but it is worth considering. If you're closer to retirement age, you might have aged out of the sweet spot in purchasing insurance. The premiums might be too expensive at this point, but it's still worth investigating with the help of your financial planner. Take a look at whether or not long-term care insurance makes sense for you. Long-term care insurance pays for your stay at a nursing home or to pay for in-home care should you need it. Number 7 is debt management. Conventional wisdom says that you should have little to no debt as you enter into your distribution phase of retirement, but sometimes having a mortgage as you enter into retirement is unavoidable. There is a school of thought out there that says that you should pay off your mortgage before you retire. Ideally, that's what you would do over time, but if you have a nest egg and you have the option to either leave the nest egg in your portfolio so it can appreciate in value, or pay off your mortgage in full, there is something called an opportunity cost when we think about taking money out of your portfolio to pay off debt. In some cases, if the debt or the mortgage is set at a lower interest rate than the rate of return that you can reasonably expect from your portfolio, then it might just make sense to let the mortgage ride and allow the investments in your portfolio to grow over time. All of these are worth considering with your financial planner because everybody's situation is a little bit different, and there is a psychological benefit to paying off your mortgage in full as you enter into retirement, and if it makes sense for your situation and if it makes you feel more secure, then it's worth it to do it. When we consider debt in retirement, we're also talking about credit cards and whether or not you are accumulating balances. If you're accumulating balances, it might be an indicator that you are spending more than you are earning or taking in. And especially as we get to retirement, we want to hone in on what it actually costs to live our lives and make sure that our cash flow is in balance. So get a hold of your credit card statements, find out where you're spending the money, and have an honest conversation with yourself about your plan to stop adding to your credit card debt and to come up with a plan to pay off your credit card debt over time. Number 8 is estate planning. This is a huge topic, but essentially it deals with plans in the event that you predecease your loved ones. And your estate plan is an entire suite of documents. It includes things like your trust, your wills, your powers of attorney, etc. Make sure you have this in place before you retire. Everybody should be doing this, but especially retirees closer to retirement age, because unfortunately you're closer to death dying of old age. I'm so sorry to tell you that, but it is a reality and we do have to plan for it. It is sometimes uncomfortable for people to plan for their death, but it is an act of love to make sure that your loved ones have a plan, that you have a plan in place for how you wish to have your property distributed upon your death. Another benefit of having an estate plan is to avoid unnecessary taxes in the probate process, but also to have a plan in place in the event that you become incapacitated. In the event that you can no longer make decisions for yourself, you can plan to have a person in place to make decisions for you for your financial matters and your health matters. Number 9 is tax planning, and one of the first tax events that you might experience in your first year of retiring is that you might receive what's called a 1099-R when you execute a rollover of your 401k assets into your IRA. It's up to you and your financial planner to decide if that's the right plan of action for you, but essentially what you're doing is you're preserving the tax benefits that you are enjoying in your 401k into an account called an IRA, an individual retirement account. One of the benefits of moving your assets into an IRA through a rollover is to have better control over your funds and to have a more customized approach to investments. One thing to keep in mind as you near the distribution phase is that distributions from your 401k or your IRA will count as income in the year that you receive the income. Remember, you put pre-tax dollars into these savings programs as you earned your earnings. But now that you are in the retirement phase, you are now taking those earnings. And so the IRS and the franchise tax board say, hey, you're taking income, and as you take income, we're going to charge income taxes. With the help of your CPA or tax preparer or accountant, you'll be able to determine what you think your tax liability might be in the years that you receive income from your retirement accounts. Another thing to consider is that at age 72, the IRS says, hey, it's time for you to start taking a minimum distribution from your 401k or IRA, and this is what we call an RMD, required minimum distributions are typically 3 to 4% of the value of the IRA, and it is an ever-changing number based on the final balance of each year and your age. It's a calculation that your advisor or a RMD calculator will be able to calculate for you, but you need to do it because the penalties are steep. If you do not take the RMD, the IRS might charge you 50% of a penalty on the amount that you were supposed to take as an RMD. Number 10 is withdrawal strategy. First, you're going to want to determine a sustainable withdrawal rate. And then second, you want to make sure that you are withdrawing funds from the correct accounts. Typically, that means better tax treatment if you do it correctly. Taking distributions from your trust accounts or your individual or joint accounts will mean that you'll typically receive advantageous tax treatment so long as you meet capital gains tax treatment requirements, like needing to hold a position in the portfolio for at least a year and a day, for example. And also remember that when you're taking distributions from your 401k or IRA, that you're going to be charged income taxes on those distributions. Number 11 is longevity planning, and if you have had parents that have lived a long life, chances are you will too. So you want to make sure that your retirement savings lasts you the entire duration of your retirement. Number 12 is part-time and hobby employment. So if you're in retirement and you have saved enough, this means that likely you do not need to work any longer. But maybe you do want to take on a part-time job or hobby job because you want to have something to do. And this is the great opportunity that's available to you in retirement, because if there's something out there you've always wanted to do, and if they happen to pay you for doing it, now's your chance. You're not trying to work to make a living any longer. So now you get to work for fun if you want to. Number 13 is market volatility. So as you go into retirement, take time to understand how markets affect your portfolio, because your portfolio typically is going to be the driver of your income. Understanding the correlation of market volatility and your income is important. Number 14 is social and family considerations. Of course, your social life is going to change a little bit as you go into retirement because you no longer have the benefit of a built-in social network that you find at work. Also, your retirement is not just your retirement, it affects those around you as well. So you want to ensure there is alignment in your family as you go into this next phase of your life. Overall, though, you just want to make sure that you have proper support as you enter this new phase of life. Number 15 is seek out professional help. And if you are entering retirement, this is a brand new phase of life and it is going to be a lot of change. And so you want to make sure you have the support. And there are professionals out there who are specifically trained to talk to you about these topics. It might be that you hire a financial planner or a financial coach. It might be that you hire a therapist or a counselor. All of these people are available to you to help you plan and think about this new phase of your life. As you've seen, there are lots of topics to consider as you enter into retirement. And you know what? You don't have to go through any of this alone. There are professionals out there to help you. So seek out the help. And you want to make sure that you give yourself plenty of time to plan and plenty of time to adjust. And you want to be compassionate with yourself as you go through all of these changes. I hope this was super helpful for you, and if it was, if you can give me a thumbs up and a subscribe, that would be lovely. Also, I want to wish you prosperity and wellness as you enter into your retirement phase. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next time.